Can you observe these ants on this acacia tree? Okay. Actually, there is a very special relationship between these ants and this acacia tree. You must have heard about the term which is called as Myrmecophytes. Now, when we say Myrmecophytes, Myrmecophytes are those plants which has their contact with the ants. That is, the ants and the plant, if they are in a relationship, we call these plants as a Myrmecophytes. Now, the best example to analyze or to explain the Myrmecophytes is the acacia species and their relationship with the ants. Okay, actually these acacia species intentionally they create the hollow spines. As you know, there are many spines which are present on the acacia tree, and these spines are the hollow, and these hollow spines are intentionally created by this particular acacia plant in order to give shelter to the ants. Okay, so they're providing shelter to the ants, and not only shelter, they were also providing the nectar and the other food material in the form of leaves, tips. Okay, whatever the leaf tips are there, these leaf tips are very easily consumed by these ants. So not only the nectar but also the leaf tips are the good food resource for the ants. Now ants are taking the shelter from the plant, plus they are also taking the food material from this acacia plant, and in return what they give to the plant. Now in return they provide defense to these particular plants. Now these ants, whenever there is a predator or there is some kind of a herbivore are there, they are able to deter these kinds of the harmful elements which will cause harm to this particular plant. Okay, so for example, if the insects wants to climb on this particular plant and tries to feed this particular plant, then certainly the ant army will come out of the spines, and they can even eat the insects. Okay, so insects cannot be stayed on these particular acacia plants because of the presence of the ants. Okay, so ants are acting as a bodyguard to these particular plants. So like a bodyguard, these acacia plants keep ants with them, and these ants in return get the shelter, plus they were also getting the food material. And in return, what the ants gives to the plant acacia, these ants are acting as a bodyguard, and they will not make the entry or will not allow the entry of any insect on this particular plant. Okay, so this is a symbiosis and a kind of a mutualistic relationship between the animal and the plant, in which both are getting benefited. So in the UPSC mains examination, you can easily put forward this example for the mutualism in the ecology chapter, that the acacia plant and the ants are having the ecological mutualism, in which the ants are having the food and shelter to live, and in return the ants are providing protection to these particular